have two games here, both called Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Double Agent. This one came from Ubisoft's Montreal studios and was released for the original Xbox, the PS2, the GameCube, and the Nintendo Wii. It continues the excellent tradition of the Splinter Cell games, focusing on strategy, stealth, and above all, thinking things through. It has smooth controls, a clear interface, an excellent story, and great use of branching storylines where what you do has consequences. This one came from Ubisoft's Shanghai studios and was released for the Xbox 360 and the PC. It is a foul, reeking, parasite-infested pool of canine diarrhea poured over toast to try and make it look appetizing. What the hell's going on here? If you've been watching, you know I'm a big fan of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell series. The first one set the bar. Pandora Tomorrow had a great story and excellent gameplay, despite the annoying secondary characters constantly denoting the obvious, and Chaos Theory moved things to a whole new level of excellent. So when I saw that Double Agent had come out, I had trouble waiting until the price came down. Yes, I do that. Deal with it. Anyway, since my primary system is the Xbox 360, naturally that was the one I bought. I popped it into my system and settled in for a great stretch of playing as my good friend Sam Fisher. No such luck. The first thing I noticed was the interface. Where are my prompts? A big feature of the Splinter Cell franchise is the prompt box that tells me what to do and gives me my options.
We could just stand here and hope the snow melts and shorts the fence out. We could just stand here and hope the snow melts and shorts the fence out.
Suddenly, I had these stupid little icons in the middle of the screen, and apparently I was supposed to memorize what about a squillion of them meant. And even if I selected the right one, the program might or might not respond the way it was supposed to. Each action you see me doing here took at least 2 presses of the A button. And look at this one. What is that? I have no idea. It looks like a dog bone standing diagonally. Well, that's certainly helpful. And as you progress, it just gets worse because there are more and more that don't tell you what it is you're actually supposed to do. Then there's the night vision and thermal vision. They're worse than useless. They actually obscure your vision and the whole world is horribly out of focus. This is your night vision. Okay, so which greenish blob do I head for? Which one is a brick and which one is an enemy with a gun who's going to shoot me into little bitty pieces? This is the thermal vision. You can see it's even worse. The EMF vision gives you nothing as well. These things are supposed to be tools to help you accomplish the missions. Instead, they're huge liabilities. If you get through this game, you do so in spite of them, not because of them. Even worse, you have a reward system. When you finish a level, you unlock different gadgets. Hey, that sounds like fun, right? Until you realize you never get to use them. They're in your inventory and that's pretty much it. Thanks for nothing, guys. And in each level you have various objectives, some primary and some opportunity, which means if you can do them, good. If not, no biggie. But it gets thoroughly lame when you discover that all the objectives are optional. That's right. There's not a damn thing you have to do to complete a level, just stay alive. What the? The story begins with Sam on a mission in Iceland where a new partner goes running off in a zealous frenzy and gets himself killed. Worse yet, when Sam is done with the mission, Lambert has to tell him that his daughter Sarah has been killed in a car accident. Sam falls into a deep depression and starts taking the most dangerous missions he can, hoping one of them will get him killed. Now, why Third Echelon or somebody higher up didn't pull him out of the field completely until he dealt with all this is beyond me, because in any agency worth its salt, that's exactly what would happen. Not here. Sam gets himself put into prison so he can infiltrate a domestic terrorist organization known as John Brown's Army, or JBA for short. Several missions take place inside the JBA compound, and this is where things get really dumb. First, your objective screen doesn't tell you half of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to gather fingerprint scans and voice prints on each of the 5 principals in the JBA, but you're never told that unless you use a GameFAQs walkthrough like I did. Second, each mission inside the compound is timed. You usually have about 30 minutes to complete a ton of stuff, but if you don't, that's okay too because it's all optional. So the whole thing is pointless from the get-go. Words fail me to describe how much I hated this game. Splinter Cell Double Agent became a 4-letter word for me. So when Conviction came out, I knew it was going to be continuing the same basic ideas and I pretty much ignored it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. About a year after I learned to hate it, I finished playing through the first 3 games again. I got to wondering if maybe I had judged Double Agent too harshly. Let me back up a second. I like first-person shooters. That's my preferred game style. I just have more fun with it. Splinter Cell is one of the few third-person game series that I can really enjoy. I know there are folks out there who don't like the FPS format, and that's cool. I do. The third-person viewpoint has always been the one thing that I found less than satisfying about Splinter Cell. But sometime after I learned to despise Double Agent, I got to thinking. By now, I had played several more third-person type games, Dead Space and a couple like that, and figured maybe I just wasn't experienced enough to deal with it before. So I tried it again. Nope, I was right. This thing is a turkey. Whoever released this mess should have been dropped into the Marianas Trench with cement shoes just before they released it. I was fully prepared to make that the sum total of my review and advise everybody to stay as far away from it as possible. But then one day as I was wandering around the internet, I came upon a really curious factoid. Splinter Cell Double Agent exists in not one, but 2 completely different incarnations. Curiouser and curiouser. So I found a video walkthrough of the other version, and within 5 minutes I was saying, I want to play this! This looked like Splinter Cell, and the story was about as different as it could possibly be. A couple of the missions happened in the same places as the 360 version, but they had completely different structures and objectives. What the hell? Why would a game company do this? I still don't have the answer to that, and it's possible I never will. But it really makes me want to make a special trip to Shanghai just to kick a few key people in the whatchamacallits. Original Xbox games are hard to find locally here because my favorite game store chain, GameStop, for the most part quit carrying them. Dumb move, guys. So I had to go to eBay for that. But one of the local stores had the GameCube edition and I bought it. For the next 6 days I spent many pleasant, if occasionally frustrating, hours in front of it, having fun with the Sam Fisher I've come to know and love. And incidentally, the GameCube version is every bit as good as the Xbox. It's a little stripped down like most GameCube ports, but not as much as I might have expected. Well done, guys. This is Splinter Cell. I have no idea what that other crap is, but don't even bother looking at it. You'll get a headache. Let's take a look at the good version and have some fun. The game has 3 difficulty modes: normal, hard, and expert. I'm partial to normal mode myself because the game plays fair. In the higher modes, your enemies can see in the dark, they can shoot you from a mile away and never miss, and apparently they're like flies. They can sense tiny changes in the air currents so they know where you are no matter how well hidden you are or how still you're trying to be. It gets really frustrating sometimes. If you're the type that likes that sort of challenge, go for it. If you're like me and just want a fun game, stick with the normal mode. We begin with a phone call. The recipient is Assistant Director Williams, presumably Assistant Director of the NSA. The caller is Sam Fisher, and he has some choice words for Williams. He says Williams is building a case against him and Lambert and that he was after them from the very beginning. We see right away that Williams is your basic bean counter bureaucrat. We have ways of doing these things, you guys went over the line, blah blah blah. You learn to dislike this guy real quick. And basically, he's the wraparound for the game, because he and Sam are recounting events that led up to Sam going rogue. The story begins in Iceland. We don't have Grimm or Redding for any of this. We have Lambert, we have Williams, oh joy and happiness, and in Iceland we also have a partner named Hisham. The job is to infiltrate a factory believed to belong to one Rahim Kadir, a guy who supplies arms to terrorists and is suspected of having a nasty new weapon he got from the Russians. You need to find out if it's true and deal with the situation accordingly. As you go along, you get prompts to learn more about this or that piece of equipment or action. If you select play video, you get a short clip about it. If you're new to Splinter Cell, it's a good idea to watch them. If you're an old hand, you can ignore them or watch them just for fun. Your choice. The main thing to do is make sure that the prompt is gone before you try to do anything else, because a couple of times I went to grab a guy or open a door or something like that and got a training video instead. Somebody should have told me you need to be awake to play this game effectively, I guess. You have a couple of nifty new moves. One is grabbing an enemy through a thin obstruction. You got to do this through rice paper and chaos theory. Now you start right off getting to do it through a sheet of ice, thus.
Block the path. That should buy you some time.
Roger that. We're inbound on your location. Out.
I can't wait for this to be over.
And further on, you can do this. We have some moves that are old friends and some new pipe climbing abilities. You also have some nice co-op moves that you get to do with Hisham and later with some other characters like this one.
Okay, now I'll haul you up.
Once inside, it's minigame time. The first one, shut down these guys' production capability. You do this by placing charges on some key equipment around the plant. Okay, so we have 3 more of these to place. Fortunately, the locations have those big blue lights on them. So it's time to check our map. The yellow arrows are bad guys. That faint red spot way off to heck and gone is the main objective. This placing of charges is an opportunity objective, which means you don't have to complete it to finish the level. But completion or non-completion of the opportunity objectives affects your trust level. How much does the NSA trust you? This trust factor becomes a key ingredient in the game later on, as you do the balancing act between keeping the NSA happy and keeping the JBA happy. So you get to a lab and find it's empty. Here we get our first look at Emile Dufresne, the twisted mind behind the JBA and the apparent buyer of this new, very nasty weapon. After he leaves, we do our first hack. I like this method of hacking. The bad version of this game has columns of constantly changing numbers that remind me of the Matrix on barbiturates. This one is a lot more fun.
Nice work, Sam. That information should give us plenty of leads.
Does that mean you get off my case now?
I'll think about it.
Yikes! This red mercury looks like nasty stuff. Why would this Emile guy want it? So from here, you're looking for any information you can find about it while planting those charges. Along the way, you're going to take some damage. That's what med kits are for. Ever since the second game, we've had to find them mounted on walls here and there, but they can be used multiple times. The ones in this game are no different. Just as you find the main computer and get info on the buyer, Lambert pulls the plug on the mission. All he'll tell you is that something has happened involving your daughter. So you have to make your way out. Fortunately, your night vision goggles in this game are quite useful. This looks like the night vision from Pandora Tomorrow. It's clear and sharp and you can tell what's going on. If the light around you gets too bright, it washes out, but it doesn't last. The thermal vision is equally clear and revealing, so use both to your advantage. So back on the helicopter, Lambert breaks the news to Sam. His daughter Sarah has been killed, run down by a car. Sam doesn't take the news well. He takes off his night goggles and throws them out the helicopter door, where they drop to the ocean and sink. Sarah was never that big a character, but knowing Sam had a family member to go home to made him a bit more human. Now he's basically empty. He sinks into a depression, but Lambert can't pull him out of the field for some reason. So Sam takes the most dangerous mission he can think of, putting himself into Ellsworth Prison to link up with Jamie Washington, a major player in Emile Dufresne's organization. Sam's job is to befriend Jamie, help him escape, and thus infiltrate the organization. Williams is, pardon me, an asshole about the whole thing. He doesn't seem to think that the death of Sam's child is a good enough reason to pull him off the Iceland mission. I really want a chance to cut this guy's privy member off, because people like him should not be allowed to reproduce, and they should be prevented from doing so in the most painful manner imaginable. Otherwise, there's too much chance of passing on the jerk gene. and he's on Sam's case about exceeding the NSA's authority with the prison mission. Sam argues that nobody else was going to do it and Dufresne was their only lead. All the other agencies were dragging their feet, so somebody had to act, and Sam had nothing to lose anymore. A meeting with Lambert gives you a PDA with a rough map of the prison. Lambert also tells you some other Splinter Cells will be creating a diversion so you and Jamie can escape that very night. But in the meantime, you have a decision to make. There's a guy in the prison that Jamie wants you to kill, but the feds want him as a witness in an important case. Kill him and you gain Jamie's trust, but lose credibility with the NSA. Leave him alive and you're on good terms with the NSA, but Jamie and his organization won't trust you as much. What to do? What to do?
Good! Looks like you could use a spotter, Washington.
Bring it
Too bad you got me instead.
Mother.
Barnum, stay out of this!
Not a chance. Get off him. Now.
Wait your turn, Fisher. There's enough beatings to go around.
I always cut in line.
All three of you, go to the wall. Put your hands against it now. You just made a big mistake. They're gonna have to hose you off the concrete when I get through with you.
Well, now that I've got him, what do I do with him? Jamie hates this guy. I kill him, I'm Jamie's best buddy for life, which is good for the mission. Lambert doesn't want casualties. He's got Williams breathing down his neck. One or the other. Gotta decide.
The decision ends up affecting you directly. If you kill him, then during the escape you get a gun. If you leave him alive, Jamie takes the gun and you get a lockpick. And that's one of the more minor consequences of decisions you make throughout the game. As you go along, the level of trust you have with each group determines how much equipment you have for the next mission. One way to lose trust with the NSA during this prison escape is to kill guards. Lambert tells you absolutely no casualties. If you violate that, you pay for it later with less gear. In any case, you and Jamie break out of the prison, of course by the most complicated route possible, and the next thing you know, you're on your way to New Orleans and the JBA headquarters. There you meet the 5 principal players. Emile Dufresne, of course, Carson Moss, security chief and all-around mean dude, Enrica Villablanca, the weapons expert and a lovely girl not much older than Sam's own daughter. It's easy to see that Sam has a soft spot for her from the beginning. And BJ Sykes, the technical expert. Yes, I know that's only 4. Jamie is the 5th one, and I really have no idea what his job is because we're never told. Just go with it. One guy Sam hasn't met is Cole Yeager. Like Jamie, we're never told what he does there. But Emile thinks he's out to take over the organization, so he sends Sam to get more information on Yeager and find out where his loyalties lie. On the way to the mission, Sam finds a chance to sneak into the restricted part of the compound, so he takes it. Thus begins the next mission. It starts with a mini-game. Find 4 different circuit breakers that control the JBA's electronic jamming and reduce their power so the NSA can spy on the compound from the outside. The opposing objectives involve Yeager. When you find info on him, you can send it either to Lambert or to Emile, but not both. Why? Because the game says so. It's your big choice for this mission, so quit your belly aching and make your decision. Oh wait, we're not to that point yet. Hold that thought. Along the way, you have several other tasks, such as scanning Enrica's fingerprints and uploading some false information about yourself to Moss's computer. These aren't hard to accomplish, since one of the circuit breakers is in Moss's office, and the route to the server where you find the information about Yeager takes you right past Enrica's quarters, subtly identified by the word Enrica in huge letters on the door. Now, it gets a tad irritating at this point, because you can do this stuff in any order, but if you finish accessing the server about Yeager before you adjust the last circuit breaker, Lambert will tell you to go back to the server and open a connection to Third Echelon so they can snoop around in the JBA's files. So back you go, increasing the chances of getting caught and losing yet more trust with the JBA. But eventually you get it all done and then you head back to the public area before somebody notices you were in places where you weren't supposed to be. Mission complete. The next part of the conversation with Williams varies depending on who you sent the Yeager file to. But you go on to discuss the next mission, which is robbing a New York subway train carrying a buttload of money, gold, and diamonds. Lambert stresses no casualties and on the way hammers at it more. These are civilians, don't kill them. Beating them senseless is okay, of course, but leave them breathing. Enrica is with you for the first part of this mission, and it's easy to see that she and Sam have a serious connection. So you work your way through a badly damaged subway station where the goods are being loaded, and of course there are armed guards everywhere. Emil wants no witnesses, Lambert wants no casualties. The key person is the station chief, because he has the code to the vault. You're supposed to get the code out of him, then kill him. Your trust meter is adjusted depending on whether you kill him or just knock him out. Then you make your way to the actual train, get on it, and start to make your way to the front car and the driver. So now you're on a moving train with a limited amount of time to disable its communication system so the guards can't call for help when your JBA pals switch them to a different track. And of course, the ideal is still no casualties. And your path along the train, naturally, is unnaturally convoluted. After you get through a couple of cars, you have a chance to detach those cars so the guys in them are spared the inevitable crash at the end of the line. But if you do it, you get this response.
Cut these cars loose. Save the guys inside from the crash. And minimize the fire.
Mr. Fisher, I'm beginning to get a bad feeling about you. And my gut feelings are seldom wrong.
From here, it really gets interesting. You have to go up on top of the car, and of course the remaining guards use their psychic powers to sense that there's somebody up there, and they come up to investigate.
Get out here, right now!
Ouch!
That's gonna leave a mark.
Another one comes up, and you might or might not have to deal with him depending on if he's paying more attention than his buddy was. Repeat this process for the next car, including 2 more guards who may or may not take a conk to the head. You cross the top of a 3rd car without incident, and now it's time to enter that car from the other end and deal with yet more guards so you can disable the communication system. Meanwhile, Jamie is proving just how much of a weenie he is as he tries to operate the track switch.
Okay, Sam, you're good to go.
Once that's done, you head for the engine and the motorman. Things don't exactly go as Sam had hoped.
What are you doing?
Getting there faster.
No, we have to stop. There's a wall.
Don't even think about it. Stay cool and you'll be fine. Hold tight. Talk to me, Lambert. I've got a bloodbath here.
You promised me no body count on this one, Sam. We need to meet. Pronto. Drop point Charlie, tomorrow night, usual time. Got it?
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Excuse me? Sam didn't promise anything. And he wasn't the one who killed the motorman or the others. I think Lambert has been taking world's biggest jerk lessons from Williams. So with the ridiculous amount of wealth he got from the train, Emil buys this red mercury bomb stuff. He wants to test it on a cruise ship off Cozumel, and of course the agents selected to make it happen are Sam and Enrica. Sam tells Williams that he could have controlled the situation if Williams hadn't interfered. Of course, Sir Bean Counter insists that Sam needed his help.
Fisher, bad news. A.D. Williams doesn't want the JBA to plant the bomb.
Enrique's cell phone is the trigger mechanism. I'll get a hold of it and disable the ignition sequence.
That's too unreliable. We're talking thousands of lives here.
I do this or my cover's blown. Does Williams have any suggestions?
I'm afraid so. You warned the local authorities of a possible terror threat. The boat should be crawling with police about now.
Swell.
Thanks a bunch, dipwad. So you have to get past who knows how many cops and meet Enrique at the comm tower so she can place a relay that'll allow her to trigger the bomb from a safe distance. Next, you have to get down to a small interior boat dock, get the bomb, and take it to Enrique in the engine room. Once you've done all that, you have a decision to make. Enrique's cell phone is the trigger, as we already learned. So, do you disable her phone so the bomb won't go off, or do you sacrifice a ship full of people to build Emil's trust?
I wonder how far Emil will go if the bomb doesn't explode. Would he kill Enrique? Or me? Are we worth more than 2,000 lives? This could be the end of everything.
From there, it's basic get-to-extraction stuff. The decision you make determines who you catch hell from, Emil or Lambert and Williams. We're out of time for today, so next week we'll look at the rest of the game and have some real fun. Until then, I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you. Hoping one of them will get him killed.
Get what?
Get him killed.
What's killed?
That's when he's dead. Disable the communication system.
I think we're gonna have to do this again.
Are we still rolling?
Yes.